Earlier this year, CareerCast.com did a study on the 10 best and worst jobs in Oklahoma, ranking employment according to stress, income, and employment opportunity. Top spots went to petroleum engineers and geologists working in the state's energy sector. But rounding out the worst job list was oil rig worker. State Impact Oklahoma has been reporting on the hazards of working in Oklahoma's oil fields. I spoke with State Impact's Joe Wertz about what he's found. Joe, deaths from work-related accidents on oil and gas rigs are the highest that they've been in years. Why is that?
Well, there's a lot of activity going on, and nobody really knows what's causing these accidents. But a lot of it has to do with there's just a lot more drilling going on out there, and a lot more activity, both in oil and gas.
What's the biggest safety issue?
Well, the biggest safety issue, most of these accidents are, pretty grisly. People getting injured, struck, falling, these types of things. I think the biggest industry biggest safety issue we're being told is really training, making sure people, are able to know the safety procedures, are trained on that particular company's sort of workflow and on the job site. So that's really what everybody's saying, is that people need to know about their personal safety and also these sort of procedural safety things on a rig that, something you do can really impact the health and safety of those around you.
How much regulation is there regarding safety?
Well, it's a mixed bag. On the federal level, the OSHA, the Occupational Safety Health Administration, does have regulation, and there are industry sort of standards. But on the state level, not a lot of regulation. Not a lot of inspections unless there is an accident. Really, it's a sort of response to an accident. Let's see what happened and see what we can learn from it. But on the front end, not much.
You mentioned that the injuries and deaths can be especially grisly. Are there any patterns to this?
Yeah, there are patterns to it. If you look at the data of the people who have died on oil and gas rigs this year, most of them are very young, for that type of worker. They've been on the job site a relatively short period of time. So what you've got are younger employees on these oil and gas rigs that haven't been with that company for a very long time, and a lot of the injuries, the OSHA officials say, pretty much all of these can be prevented.
Does the size of the drilling operation make any difference? Is it the same for big companies and small companies?
Well, big companies, the big ones that you're familiar with, the Chesapeakes, the Devons, the Continentals, these companies don't do a lot of their own drilling in a lot of cases. They outsource this to smaller companies. So you do see a lot of these, most of these drilling service companies are on the small end. Yeah, they're relatively small, 50 or so employees in most cases.
Are the deaths expected to go down anytime soon?
Well, boy, they're really hoping so. October is when the year resets for OSHA, so they've had a record amount, and they're really hoping they can turn it down before the year ends.
Joe Wertz from State Impact Oklahoma, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jay.